Hello and welcome back to 7th grade math. Today we're going to be going over 2.2 division rules. So last time we discovered multiplication rules. This time, same thing with division. So make sure you have your packet open to 2.2 and let's get started. Alright, so this does look very similar to the multiplication one. So make sure you are on the division page. Okay, so starting with our I can statement, today we are going to develop rules for dividing integers. There we go. Okay, so just like we kind of noticed some things when we were dividing, we're going to multiplying, we're going to notice some things while we divide, and then come up with some rules. But first, I want to talk about different ways to show division, because I might not always use this symbol. I might use other ways. Just want you to be aware that they all mean division. All right, so we can do it the long division way. So 15 divided by 3. We can do it as a fraction. That's usually how I do it. You can write it as a fraction side to side, like this. 15 divided by 3. Or you can use the symbol 15 divided by 3. So just some ways to show it. I usually use one of those two. So if you see that, it just means division. Right? And that's why fractions aren't scary. They're just division problems. Okay? So we're going to use the tables. Here it shows us some division problems and the outcomes. But we are going to find the pattern and then continue that pattern to find what negative 20 divided by 2 is. And same thing. We are going, sorry, I just dropped something, I didn't know what it was. We're going to find the pattern on this table to find out what negative 8 times negative 4 is. So go ahead, pause the video, take a couple minutes, find the pattern, figure out what's happening, write about it, and then I'll get back to you. So go ahead and pause now. Okay, so let's talk about what you should have been noticing. So I see that 20 divided by 2 is 10. 10 divided by 2 is 5. To get from 10 to 5, I'm subtracting 5. And then 10 divided by 2 is 5. 0 divided by 2 is 0. From 5 to 0, we're subtracting 5. So I'm subtracting 5 each time. So then 0 minus 5 is negative 5. Negative 5 minus 5 is negative 10. Okay, and how we got there was we subtracted 5 each time. Okay. So then on the other table, 8 divided by negative 4, it tells me is negative 2. And then 4 divided by negative 4, it tells me is negative 1. To go from negative 2 to negative 1, I'm adding 1 plus 1. Okay. Negative 4 divided by negative 4 is negative 1. 0 divided by negative 4 is 0. From negative 1 to 0, I'm adding 1. And I'm going to continue that pattern to fill out the table. So negative 4 divided by negative 4, 0 plus 1 is positive 1. Negative 8 divided by negative 4, from 1 to the next one, I'm going to add 1 and get 2. So this is what your table should look like. And how we did that was that we added 1 each time. Okay, so what do you notice about a quotient whose dividends, so the numbers you're dividing, have different signs? Like negative 20 divided by 2. Or negative 10 divided by 2. They were different. Or even on the other table, we have a positive divided by a negative. Okay? What was their outcome? Was it positive or was it negative? I see that it is negative. So we're going to say a quotient with different signs and we saw that the outcome, that the quotient was negative. So different signs we're seeing is negative. What about if they have the same sign? So what do you notice? Well, a quotient with the same sign is, let's go ahead and look. So we're looking for either both positive or both negative. Well, here, a positive and a positive, those are the same. My result was positive. 10 and 2 are positive, and my result was positive. Let's look at the other table at 2 negatives. So a negative divided by a negative was a positive, and a negative divided by a negative was a positive. So I'm seeing that if they have the same sign, they're going to be positive. Is that the same or different from what we noticed when we were multiplying? Go back and look. It's interesting. Okay, so let's write our actual rules. Let me zoom in on him first. Okay, so expressions with the same sign, oh, this should say quotient. That's what happens when I copy and paste, huh? Quotient, and same thing, quotient. That didn't write like I wanted it to. Okay. So expressions with the same sign will have a quotient, so the answer when you're dividing, that is positive. So 2 negatives or 2 positives. Okay, expressions with different signs, so like a negative and a positive, or a positive divided by a negative, will have a quotient that is negative. And then 0 divided by anything is just 0, right? Okay? So if they're the same sign, it's positive. If they're different signs, it's negative, which is the same as our multiplication rules, which is so nice, right? Like we had to remember different rules for adding and subtracting, but now multiplying and dividing, same set. Bam. Okay, so let's do some practice together. Okay, 54 divided by negative 9. Well, 1 is a positive divided by a negative, which is going to give me a negative answer. Okay, so now I just have to do 54 divided by 9, which is 6. And since my answer has to be negative, it's going to be negative 6. Okay. Negative 39 divided by negative 13. Here's a negative divided by a negative, which is going to give me a positive. So my answer is going to be positive. So now I just have to figure out 39 divided by 13. Well, I'm going to say 13 times what is 39? That helps my brain. Well, I know it's going to be 3, and we can check that. Right? 13 times 3 is 9. 3 times 1 is 3. Gave me 39. We're good to go. Okay, so 39 divided by 13 is 3. And a negative divided by a negative is positive, so my answer is positive 3. So just figure out, is it going to be positive or negative? Do the division problem, and then just put them together. Right. 22 divided by negative 2. Well, this is a positive divided by a negative, which is going to be negative. Okay. Then 22 divided by 2 is 11. So negative 11. Okay. Next one, negative 48 divided by negative 8. Well, a negative divided by a negative, they have the same sign. It's going to be positive. And 48 divided by 8 is 6. So it's positive 6. Okay, so just do the division problem and find the answer. Then go back, look at the signs. If they're the same sign, so both positive or both negative, your answer is positive. If they have different signs, your answer is negative. Okay, and then I just want to talk about different ways we might see fractions. Okay, so when you write division as a fraction and it's negative, you can put the negative sign multiple places. So right here we have the negative outside, but it can go apply to the numerator. Oh, I wrote these spaces really tiny, huh? So the negative can apply to the numerator to make it negative 18 over 2. Or you can put the negative and apply it to the denominator. So 18 divided by negative 2. So if it's out in front, you can apply it to either, or if it's in the numerator or the denominator, you can just pull it out front. I did write those spaces really tiny. I apologize. Woohoo! So yeah, so here it was negative 18 over 2, which became negative 18 over positive 2, or you can write it as 18 over negative 2. So let's just practice rewriting those. So we have negative 12 over 13. So that can be a negative 12 over positive 13. Or it can be a positive 12 over a negative 13. So I can put it in the numerator or I can put it in the denominator. Okay. So we have 1 divided by negative 2. And I can take that negative and put it out in front and make it negative 1/2. Which is a little prettier to look at, right? That is just too much going on in my brain. This one is nice and pretty. All right. So, your 2.2 practice. Level 1, just stating, is the quotient going to be positive? Is it going to be negative? When will it be 0? Level 2, pay attention to how many problems your page says to do. And then level 3, we just got some word problems, okay? So go ahead and work on that. If you have any questions, let me know. Have a great day. Be a kind human. Bye-bye.